This is the Mate 9. Now I've been using this phone for over a month, and this probably isn't the first review you're gonna see of this phone, as this phone was unveiled outside the US a couple months ago. But I've had a really good chance to get to know this phone inside and out. So instead of doing a normal review, as you've probably seen several of them, we're just gonna go ahead and do the good and the bad and my conclusion. You ready? I'm Kevin the Tech Ninja, and this is the Mate 9 review. First, let's talk about the good. The Mate 9 is a worthy successor to the 8, and I say this with all Huawei reviews that I do on my channel, but they're constantly pumping out some of my favorite phones. They know what people love and they're focusing on that. Like the large 4000 milliamp all day and the next day battery, the real dual speakers on the bottom, the fast fingerprint scanner, and the ultra fast and reliable camera. Huawei has set major benchmarks for me when I compare other phones to it, like when I compare the fingerprint sensor to other phones, and also when it comes to the camera quality. The fingerprint scanner location is just ideal, and it's the fastest I've seen. Also, the screen to body ratio is amazing. The screen is very large at 5.9 inches, but it doesn't feel that way. It just fits well in my hand. The camera too is great. The front shooter is 8 megapixels and the back is 20 megapixels. The camera on the Mate 9 in auto is great, and it's one of the best I've seen from flagship devices. Low light imagery is great. Take a look at this picture here. This was shot in auto mode, and this shot here was set in auto mode, but I did change the exposure a little bit in the auto mode controls. Mate 9 has an amazing low light camera and some of the best images I've seen from any mobile device. Now, when you're in low light and actually decent light too, the shutter isn't super fast, so you're gonna see blurry images if something is moving. But it does have object tracking, which keeps things in focus as they move, but it just doesn't do the job compared to just a ultra fast shutter like you see with some other devices. You can like freeze motion. In this camera, you're not gonna do that, so keeping up with those toddlers running around taking pictures, the Mate 9 doesn't do a great job at that. But what the Mate 9 does a great job as is doing the selective focus. For one, that looks really good and you get some really nice looking shot. And it also does have some gimmicky features like in their shooting modes and the colors and all that stuff that I really didn't play with. And it also has beauty mode and beauty mode video too. Two things that I really don't use, but I know some people like to use beauty mode, and Huawei has a really nice beauty mode all the way up from 0 to 10, and it does a really good job at smoothing your skin, but that's not nothing I really want to use. Now, the hardware is top notch. Everything is great. The phone feels great. The dual speakers are bottom firing, but they sound pretty good. They do lack a little bit of crispness that you see with phones like the iPhone, but they do get plenty loud and they actually sound pretty decent. Now, unfortunately, we do have to move to the bad. The interface, the skin, just how it overall looks is boring. The skin is very familiar to something you find on any other Chinese phone. The skin is manageable and you can work around it, but is it worth working around it? Because you can throw a launcher on, but the background is still using the skin, and it's just, you don't get that same experience as you do with a stock Android phone or a phone that has a lesser skin. Battery life is amazing, but to achieve that, they did cut some corners on the screen. The screen is a 1080p display, and normally I don't mind a 1080p display. OnePlus 3T didn't mind that it had 1080p display. I actually really enjoyed the screen. But what you're gonna see here is that it's a 5.9 inch screen, and you can definitely see the difference between a Quad HD screen and 1080p at that size. YouTube videos take a hit, and also when you're looking at images. For a phone guy like me, and a guy that watches a lot of 4K footage on YouTube, well, actually Quad HD footage on YouTube scaled down, that was kind of a bummer for me because I'm just used to watching things at a higher resolution, and when it comes to 5.9 inches, you can definitely tell the difference. If it was like 5.1 inches or 5.5, maybe not, but once you start getting towards 6 inches and you're in that realm of 5.8 and up, I really think Quad HD becomes something that you have to have. The camera is using H.265 codec, which is a newer codec, but getting the video to run on my computer didn't work out right. It was actually pretty difficult. So I honor Huawei for giving this a shot, but for a consumer, it kind of sucks if they want to watch the videos on their computer. Now, to get around this, I did upload to Google Photos and then it streamed it, but the raw footage I like to put in a lot of reviews. I couldn't do that with this because of the higher codec. So where did things go wrong? It seems like in the good, there are so many good things that equates to a good phone, but in the bad, there's a couple things that kind of a big deal. So where did everything go wrong, and does this phone suck, quite frankly? I wouldn't necessarily say that things went wrong, but I think Mr. Mobile Michael Fisher said it the best. It's just another good Huawei. It's nothing that wows us, and it's nothing that's gonna win someone over who's not in the know. Overall, the Mate 9 is a good phone. It's a really good phone, but no one's gonna go and buy a Mate 9 over an S7. No one's gonna buy a Mate 9 over HTC. Huawei makes these really good phones and they keep winning awards and they get these high reviews, these high markings and very positive videos, but they're not doing anything different than other people and they're not doing enough to win people over. And then when you're in the $600 territory for a phone, it sort of does put you in flagship territory. Now, if I said $600, I would do things a little bit differently. I'd pick up a OnePlus 3.2 64GB and then have money left over for accessories like a case or a D brand skin or anything like that. So, I mean, you definitely have options, but when you are spending $600 on a phone, I just think that's kind of an awkward state between flagship and not flagship. And if you go down a little bit lower, you can get yourself a better phone. But regardless, if you are interested in the Mate 9, this video did not change your opinion. It may have reaffirmed how you felt about it already as far as the good features I mentioned. So anyways, guys, if you liked the video, you know what to do. Give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and also let me know what you think about the Mate 9. Is it a phone that you want to pick up? What are you picking up instead? I'm Kevin the Tech Ninja. Have yourself a great day, and I'll talk to you folks later. Peace.
KTTN, say it again. Tell a friend that it's him again. Yo, real talk, opinions gon' be sharper than 4K. Scope squad, eat it up, simmer it, saute. Ninja got reviews and rants galore. You ain't never seen a channel like this before. No hashtag.